What's cracking, guys? So today I'm going to show you guys how I installed a T-track for my miter saw. A T-track is basically just like a little stop block so that you can put material right up to it and then cut repeat precise pieces every single time on your miter saw station. So I started off by taking off my miter saw just because I wanted to make a pass right through that section where my miter saw is with the router. And I snapped a line, so I pulled a number off of my wall to the fencing of my miter saw. And then I came towards me about another ½ inch or an inch, and then I snapped a line, and then I did that same number down there on the other side of the wall, and then I went ahead and snapped a line. And then I set my straight edge piece there to 1 inch and 5/8, I believe it was. I did a sample cut on a scrap piece of wood. I set a straight edge on it, and then I cut with the router. And then all I had to do was measure what my length was from the edge of the router base to the edge of the bit. And for this bit, I'm using a 3/4 inch bit. I think it's like an inch long. But the reason that I'm using a 3/4 inch bit is because that's the width of my track. So I wanted to just make one pass in terms of the width. I didn't want to have to move my straight edge around and risk throwing the straight edge off. So I made sure that I got a 3/4 inch bit, and then the only time that I had to make a double pass was for the depth. So at first I set the bit to about half of the depth of the track, and that sample track that I used was from that intersection piece. I'm going to be showing you guys which track that I got off of Amazon in just a second. But just like that, guys, I was done making the two passes, one halfway with depth and the other one all the way with the full depth of the track. And then right here, taking off my straight edge. And right here is the track that I bought off of Amazon, guys. It's 2 pieces, and then it also comes with an intersection piece. But these 2 pieces are 4 feet long. And so I had to set one in, and I was super happy about how this came out, guys. Look at that thing. The camera can't even see it. All I can see is the freaking glow because it's so flush, and it came out so perfect, and I was super happy. But yeah, guys, check it out. Check it out. And then boom, guys, so I had to cut maybe 4 to 6 inches off of the next track. So my table length on that tabletop right there is just short of 8 feet. But in case you were curious, I do have 8 feet between the wall and my miter saw blade. And to cut this extra track, I was not going to use my nice fresh Diablo blade. So I threw one of my old ones on there, set the depth on it, and then I went ahead and cut that nice and slowly. Of course, I threw the vacuum on there because metal shards are no fun for your lungs, even if you don't feel it. So always wear your PPE if you're going to be cutting something like that. And then I was left with the rough edge right there. So I went ahead and sanded that down a little bit with some 60 grit or 80 grit, I believe it was. Hit that a couple times, and then it came out nice and real smooth. And then just like that, guys, I was over pre-drilling. So since my tabletop is 3/4 inch thick, and I believe the track depth was 3/8, I still had about 5/8 of an inch below the track. These screws are an inch long, so they are peeking out from the bottom. I might go down there with the multi-tool and cut them flush, or I might just leave them there and just make sure that I always remember that these things are sticking out the back. That might not be the best idea if I'm down there getting some material and pick my head up and boom. But I built it, so I know what's going on. And then ready to install these knobs or the stop block. And this is the set that I got off of Amazon. It's a pack of 4 for about $10, guys. You couldn't beat it. It's aluminum. And then also what I was kind of worried about when I got this knob was if it was actually going to fit in the track, because this knob does not come from the track manufacturer. But I figured it out. That way you guys don't have to. And it fit just perfectly. And I was really happy about that as well. And then I came back and installed my miter saw back into the station. And as you can see right there, the fencing is like within a ½ inch or an inch to the track, because I'm not going to be cutting anything thinner than that. And guys, I will be listing the track and the knob down below in the description and on the Amazon links. So go ahead and check that out down below. And if I got something smaller, I could always just, Milwaukee's miter saw comes with a clamp, and I could always just clamp that a stop block down. If it's a shorter piece than that, you can see my stop block is right up to that edge right there. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. I was super happy about this. This is very useful and very helpful. I'm very happy with it, and I recommend you guys do it too. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.